Hey guys, the sign here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're doing another comic book review. Today we're looking at Spider-Man 14, or Ultimate Spider-Man number 14. This is by Hickman with art by Marco Cicchetto, and I think it's Rob Wilson as the letterer or colorist. I can't remember, but that might not be the right name, so I apologize. But it's Hickman, it's Cicchetto, it's Wilson. It's the same team as it has been for most of this run, except for Messina here and there, taking over for Cicchetto in certain issues, right? So this is a great issue. I freaking loved it. This was phenomenal. It's kind of interesting because I've heard that Spider-Man or Ultimate Spider-Man has not sold as well as you would expect. I mean, it's still outselling, Amazing Spider-Man, but it has not sold as well as you would expect it to in the last couple months. And I think that's because of the pacing of the first year. The first 12 issues are pretty interesting, but they take a while to kind of build up to all of the payoff and all of the interesting stuff that we're seeing now, right? And that is a bit of a disappointment in the sense that you did maybe lose a few people, but overall, this was so interesting and so powerful and so cool and awesome and interesting because Hickman took the time to build this out over, 12 issues, right? So it's kind of hard to know, what would be the right thing to do. Like, would have preferred Hickman to compress the first 12 issues a bit more and have this be like issue 8 or 10 instead of it being 14? And would that have helped sales at all or not really? It's kind of hard to tell, and I'm curious about that. But I'm pretty sure Ultimate Spider-Man is still top like 15 comic books being sold per month. I just don't know if it's like top 10, right? So yeah, but this is great. It opens up in February. It opens up with Felicia, Black Cat, attacking Black Suit Spider-Man, who ends up being Richard Parker. And she wants revenge for her father's impairment or wheelchair boundness, right? Like the fact that Peter basically destroyed her father's career, right? The thing is that she doesn't know that this isn't Spider-Man. And Richard tries to tell her, he's like, hey, it's not me. I'm not Spider-Man. I didn't do anything to your dad. I have no clue who the hell you are. And eventually he decides to unmask himself because that's the easiest way to convince her of this, right? She doesn't want to listen. And so he does. And he's like, hey, I'm Richard. I'm 16. What's going on? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you trying to kill me, right? And she is like, okay, well, I'm Felicia. I'm 17. And you hurt my dad. And he's like, no, I didn't. It's not me, right? And eventually these kids decide to sit down on the rooftop of a New York, high-rise or whatever, and they just start talking, and they start, enjoying a conversation with each other, and it's just really enjoyable and adorable and kind of cute, and it feels like this is going to be a romance kind of subplot that's going to happen with these characters where Peter is going to be Spider-Man. Richard might help along with him and maybe actually become the Spider-Man of this universe, right? And maybe Peter becomes Spider-Man somewhere else, or maybe he dies. I'm not really sure. And he and Felicia are going to have that kind of like will they, won't they kind of relationship that we're kind of missing from this version of Spider-Man, right? And I think that's really great. I really, really enjoyed this interaction with them. At this point, we transition away down to the Savage Land, where we see Peter and Harry riding raptors, and it's really awesome. I love this. I think that the kind of like Jurassic World inspiration was great. Really, really enjoyed it. And they go through the jungle. They actually end up eating one of the raptors just because they have nothing else to eat, and they continue to keep going. They ride the same raptor together, and I think it's kind of funny how Harry looks, holding Peter's waist from behind and just kind of going along with him on this raptor. I think it's kind of cute. It's pretty funny. And they eventually talk. And Peter wants to go home to protect his family. He knows that they're in danger, right? And he's telling Harry about this. And he tells him that, he should be worried about Gwen as well. And this is when Harry tells him, Gwen's not in danger. She has protection details. And there is a certain like life insurance thing that we have going on where if I'm missing for too long, she's going to, have protection details all around her, right? And it's kind of crazy. It highlights the difference in money and the difference in lifestyle and upraising that these guys have. And it kind of shows to, Peter, like, oh, this guy is my friend, but we don't have the same, vibe. Like, we're not on the same wavelength, right? And As this is happening, the raptor is suddenly killed by a sniper. Peter tells Harry to run, and he does a bunch of jumping around and acrobatics in order to distract the sniper, and manages to get the attention of the sniper away from them, and then escape and catches up to Harry. At this point, Mole Man shows up, and he's like, hey, I don't really like you guys, and I don't want you to survive, but I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to help you guys. And he gives them a guide, which is a little, moloid or whatever they're called. And Mysterio shows up at this point after they leave, and he's like, hey man, you gotta be careful. Kraven's gonna figure something out. You're kind of doing things that are not very aligned with our mission, right? And, well, Kraven finds him, and he kills all of Mole Man's moloids. And it's crazy. It's really fucked up. Like, Kraven just commits genocide against these little moloid characters, as the boys, Peter and Harry, are finding a way out of the Savage Land. And he eventually catches them right as they're about to leave. And when he does, we have an awesome fight between Peter and Kraven, right? And Peter is actually about to murder Kraven. He's like fed up. He's about to give the killing blow when Harry opens his mouth and he's like, yeah, Peter, do it, right? And this is like almost like a like in episode 3 of Star Wars when Anakin has Dooku, right? And the Emperor's like, do it. At that moment, there is hesitation in Anakin, right? But he goes through with it because fuck, Dooku, right? At this point, it's the same setup, but Peter looks back at Harry and realizes, no, I can't do this. This is not the right thing to do, right? And so he stops. And Kraven tells him, if you don't kill me, I will kill you, right? Like, he is a killer. He is not a good person at all. And so Peter is like, no, I won. And he hesitates. And when he does, Kraven shoots his gun. But because it wasn't shot at Peter, he doesn't notice it, right? He doesn't use his spider sense to tell that it's coming. And so it ends up bypassing Peter completely and hitting Harry. And Harry dies because of this. And Kraven is a killer and a murderer. And because Peter hesitated and didn't show the same tendencies as Kraven, he has just lost his friend, right? And Mysterio shows up again, and he's like, well, he is a killer. He did what he told you he was going to do, and you let it happen, right? And then we have a bit of a time skip here. We turn on to the end of the month here, and Peter has made it back to his home. He shows up. He tells MJ what happened. He tells her that Harry is dead. And MJ is deeply scared, and she asks him, what are we going to do? And Peter says the only thing he can, which is, we run. And this is the end of the episode, or the end of the issue. And man, it was so freaking awesome. I loved this issue. I loved the artwork. I enjoyed the storytelling. I thought it was great. I liked that we had, stakes. Harry dies, which means there is no Green Goblin in this universe, but maybe there is in some way. I'm not really sure. Maybe he gets resurrected or taken care of by the bad guys, and then betrayed or feels betrayed by Peter because Peter left him to die, right? I'm very excited to see how this works out, but it was great. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought that the Kraven aspect was great. I've never read Kraven's Last Hunt, right? I don't know too much about Kraven, except that he's a very interesting looking character, and I understand the concept of Kraven's Last Hunt, right? I've seen videos explaining it, and I get the point of it. It is kind of like Peter's like lowest moment, right? Or one of the lowest moments. And the changes that go through Peter as he deals with it are really interesting. But this is kind of a inversion of that, and I thought it was a very interesting way in which it worked, and I just had a great time reading this. It was so awesome. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on this. The next issue should come out next week, and I'm very excited about that as well. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys later.